That's mad.
So to the point where it's not that I'm fearful of it, is I'm not going to go sleep if a spider's in the room and I don't remove it.
Wow.
No, I don't want the spider crawling in my ear, laying eggs. Now you got
spiders, bro.
you say, bruv, watch YouTube. It's a dangerous place. So what I did with my daughter now, she's 20, she's in her 20s. I said to her, we're going to pick up the spider. She was like, what? Mummy's scared of spiders. I'm like, but it's fine. I'm going to show you how to pick the spider up. I don't want to pick up no spider. However, I said, let's go get a glass. Go and get a piece of paper. Come, let's go and do it. She's like, what? So when we was walking in the room, I could feel her squeezing my hand. Now, the thing is, I wanted to squeeze her hand because I was like, imagine I put the glass down on the spider. The spider runs around the glass, up my sleeve, in my mouth. You know, my brain has gone too far.
Irrational, yeah.
But I said, come, let's do it. And then we went over the spider, placed it down. I then told her how to slide the paper without killing and dragging the spider along, for those that know how to do. And then we picked it up, we took it outside. I said, keep hold of the glass, let go of the paper, shake the glass. Because now my daughter, she would have just, and just dashed everything out the window. So when she did it, I was like, look, you've done it. And she looked at the glass and the spider wasn't there. And I was like, now you're the spider catcher. High five, let's go wash the glass. Come, let's go have some ice cream. So to me, that was the moment that I could utilize not to pass over this irrational fear. No one did this with me and mice or rats. So when I see them, I'm not on them.
But what it is, you couldn't do that
with a mouse,
a tarantula spider. So exactly. So this is where
wait, what do you mean? So you couldn't catch one?
No,
you wouldn't try to. You wouldn't bring her into the room and try and talk her down and say whatever. But the point being is, so in regard to the fear, so the fear of spiders, I don't have a fear of spiders, but my logic is that I think a lot of people do have a fear of spiders, but it's an irrational fear. Like if you see one there's some people that would have to leave the room. My thing is, if I see the spider there, I'm blessed. Do what you like over there. If the spider creeps upon my shoulder and I see it there, then you're going to get a reaction. But then when you get the big spiders, the tarantulas, which are the size of my hand, now, if that was in your yard, and are you going to still say to your daughter, oh yeah, let's get a bigger glass, let's get a bowl and get it?
Or are you going to say it's
I'm going to say it. You're going to say it, but you're going to do it. I never said what I'll do it. But I'm going to say it.
So this is back to the men being vulnerable. Men are allowed to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Like, if there was a lion outside ripping people apart, we are not going out there.
No. Wiley will.
Bear.
Wiley will take a bear.
We're not going out there because we know what's going to happen. But we're vulnerable if we go outside. We know we're going to get ripped apart. Like the 100 men versus a gorilla thing. Like, we know the first line is going to get mashed up. The rest of them might survive. Yeah, but it's I don't think everyone talks about the vulnerability and whatnot. Like, it's okay to be vulnerable.
Do you know what it is? It's not even about vulnerability. It's about trust.
I think we're blurring the lines a bit. You know,
to go to the point of what Rain's initial thing was about a man's man and us trusting or us having that vulnerability and being a man's man. You've got to trust. If you go back to what was said before about knowing that if you say something, someone's going to use it against you. Do you trust that you're going to give your vulnerability to somebody not to use against you? Now, the closest people you will probably do that with are probably going to be your parents or your partner. Are you going to say that amongst your peer group, your vulnerabilities? Now, I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to tell that. I'm not going to tell that to the man them out there. But the man them in here, then there's a chance that if I'm vulnerable, I'm vulnerable. I'll tell you guys.
You just said he's scared of mice.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about
how many thousands.
No, but I'm not talking about that sort of vulnerability. I'm talking about maybe your mental health vulnerability or your physical health vulnerability. Are you going to say, you know what? Listen, I was having an issue with, like, I was bleeding, you know, I don't know why I was bleeding. Or are you going to keep that amongst yourself and battle that in your own head, thinking all the 10 million different things you can see on Google, on YouTube, thinking, you know what, it could be this, you know what, I don't want to get the answer from the doctors, so I'm not going to go nowhere. I'm going to battle and deal with it in my own head.
I'll tell you.
That's the vulnerabilities that I'm talking about.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. Agreed.
And the truth is, most men don't. Most men say, if I close my eyes, it's gone.
Yep.
So I don't need to face up to it. I don't need to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? I'm okay. Do you know what I mean?
Can I ask a question on based off of what like that? And it's funny, just 'cause I thought of it as soon as you said it, was sexually. So when you think to yourself, something downstairs might happen, all right? And I'm like, rah, I don't really want to talk to my partner about it. Well, I might want to talk to my partner about it.
He's talking about erectile dysfunction, people.
Yes.
No. I won't actually talk about that.
It could be anything.
Sexual health, I'm saying.
It could be that. It could be testicular cancer. It could be anything.
Yeah, but something's gone on downstairs.
Herpes.
Herpes. You know what I mean? Something's gone on downstairs. It's not something I'm going to be saying to myself, let me tell the man, guess what's happened? I got a spot down there. It's not something I come in and I'm going to discuss with anybody probably in the room. It's a case of who do you now turn to and discuss. You don't want to tell your missus because your missus might be saying, if you got herpes, who did you get off of? Because I ain't got herpes. You're like, whoa. Now I got another problem. Like, so you might not tell your missus. You're not necessarily going to go tell your mum. Do you know what I mean? So who do you have that conversation
Do you not go to your doctor?
Yeah.
That swings right back to the beginning when we were saying all these list of people going gym and whatever. Nobody mentioned about a doctor.
Well, it's horses for courses, isn't it? Like, if there's something, like, I'm pregnant, like, I always do the balls check. Do you know what I mean? To make sure, like, there's no lumps and no bumps. And heaven forbid, one of the glands are a little bit bigger. I'm like, oh! Immediately, Manscaped. Let me see what I've done. Let me check. And make sure.
What's the tingle? That's what's the tingle.
I'll get the mirror and check properly. I don't care. I'm nervous about it. Do you know what I mean?
So Manscaped thinking, do you use it on your face?
No, this is why it's called Manscaped.
So hold on.
So add to the point you're making. So Ray's all there with his pubes just vibrating on his
question.
God.
Quick question though. Would we all know what we're looking for?
No.
For me, any abnormalities.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
It's just like
abnormalities.
Swollen ball bags.
It's a bit like breast cancer, isn't it?
Yeah.
As in, like, a woman will feel around.
If
there is a lump or something which has not been there last time you checked, then it's something you need to be concerned about.
Isn't that more a thing of that breast cancer has been put out there so much in the world?
Well,
which I think is brilliant because it's the message is now even men know it.
Yeah.
But do men all know the thing to look for? But not even just that. It could be anything. Anything that we have in those regions, would we know what we're looking for? And would we know if something is of a concern?
Well, I don't want to switch it, but I think it was a good point which Rain jumped on Buddy for about...
Erectile dysfunction.
You say erectile dysfunction. Let's say erectile dysfunction. So I'm with my partner... Like, we're having a nice evening, just about to go upstairs. She's like, babe, I'm going to go in the shower. Meet me upstairs in 5 minutes. Yeah. You know what time it is. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.